Jason, tell me about the Xtend soybeans here, because there's some of those planted on your test plot here.
The Xtend soybeans are going to provide us a tool, provide our growers a tool to control some of these problematic weeds, specifically palmer amaranth, common water hemp, and even some cocklebur, some issues out there. It's going to provide our producers another tool in resistance management. The Xtend soybeans we're evaluating here are More Soy's RXT soybeans. We've seen anywhere from a 3 to 7 bushel increase over anything that's in our current lineup. The yields have been phenomenal. We've been looking at RXT soybeans or Xtend soybeans for quite a few years now. We've heard that they were going to come out last year, the previous year. When I was back in grad school back into 2007, we were even evaluating them then. So the delay from EPA, USDA on deregulation of the Xtend soybean trait has given enough time for the producers or the breeders to make sure that we're launching a proven and tested genetic platform for our producers. So if you remember back when Roundup Ready 2s came out, we saw a little bit of a yield drag. They quickly fixed that. We're not seeing that yield drag with these Xtends. We've had enough time to make sure that we've had good genetics into these lineups, and the yield has been phenomenal.
Now, aside from this being a tool for weed management, it's just out and out a good soybean.
Yes, it's great. So if you say 3 bushel at $10, $30 an acre, it's worth it. The potential for them to reach their highest yield is there. They're very good yielders.
Okay, now talk about weed management. What are the advantages?
Well, it provides us a tool to control some of these problematic weeds. The message from any weed scientist, or from myself specifically, I'm still going to talk about overlapping residuals. This is not going to be a silver bullet. You know, everybody likes to think about, everybody's talking about switching to Liberty Link because it's an effective weed control, because we can go back to doing what we did with Liberty, or with glyphosate, what we're doing with Liberty. This is not that tool. We're still going to be targeting weeds less than 4 inches. We're still going to be on timely applications, and we're still going to be overlapping residuals. So we're still going to be putting down the Authorities, the Valors, the Fierce, the Sonic type products, following that 30 days later with another residual like Warrant, Dual, Outlook, Prefix, those type products. I think the biggest advantage that I see personally is going to be in that burn down market. If you think about some of our problematic weeds like mare's tail, giant ragweed, we can go out there with a half a pound of dicamba or Xtend or Ingenia and come back and plant the next day. And think about the advantages. We're not having to wait for an inch of rain in 30 days like we currently have to with Clarity, and we can come out and plant the next day. So I think that is a tool to help knock down some of these winter annuals that we're having some issues with, and some of those summer annuals, and making sure that we're starting clean. That's going to be vital for the success of any soybean program, or even corn for that matter, is to start clean through tillage or through herbicide application.
Tell me about what lessons were learned through the Roundup Ready experience, and how that's going to apply and maybe make this a better component.
Well, you know, Tom, I would like to hope that we learned our lesson with Roundup Ready. You know, when it came out in 96, 7, and 8, and soybeans, corn, and cotton, it was revolutionized agriculture. I believe that we'll never see a tool like we saw Roundup Ready. It started saving us soil by increasing no-till. We were able to do over the top without hurting our yields with a non-selective herbicide. If we look back at history, we adopted that technology really fast. We started going with 32 ounces and went to 24 ounces because it worked, and went to 16 ounces because that was even working. And then all of a sudden we started seeing these weeds poke their head through the canopy, and we burned through that technology. I believe that could have been headed off. I'm not saying it could have been prevented. I think it eventually would have happened, maybe not on the broad scale as fast as it has happened today. But I don't think that this is going to be a Roundup Ready technology, and I think that Liberty Link is not a Roundup Ready technology. It's just not doing what Roundup did. If you remember back in the early 2000s, we were able to control water hemp and grasses that were shoulder high, you know, and it wasn't a problem. We were able to spray it, go on vacation, and not even come back and look at that field, and it was clean at harvest. The days of that are long gone. This is not going to be one of those tools that we're going to be able to do that with. Now, with this Roundup Ready Xtend technology, it's going to come with a list of struggles or a list of issues with itself. It's not perfect. You know, if you think about Clarity, it has issues with volatility, off-target movement, and those issues. The new formulations that will be labeled for over-the-top use or even pre-plant on soybeans are not the old Clarity. They are new formulations of Xtend, new formulations of Ingenia from Monsanto and BASF. These formulations have been specially formulated to go over the top or pre-plant on soybeans to reduce the risk to the producer or the applicator from reducing that volatility or off-target movement. We've got into a little bit of an issue this past summer for some off-labeled use around our territory, whether it be in Missouri, Iowa, or even Kansas for that matter, where they were going off-label using Clarity over the top of soybeans or cotton, and it drifted off target or volatilized and moved off target. They were not using the new formulations. The new formulations are going underneath rigorous testing. I know that, for example, for us with the Ingenia product, we submitted 18 different products or different combinations of a tank mix to be evaluated for use with Ingenia. Now, what do I mean by that? With Ingenia, if you look at what EPA has done with that label has to include everything that goes into the tank. Okay, so I can no longer put dish soap in the tank. I can no longer put this fertilizer in the tank. It has to be specifically on that label. And they have websites that's going to tell you that, yes, I can put Power Shot, I can put different products in that tank. It has to be on the label in that combination. And if you put something that's not on that label, you're breaking the law. So whether that be the Xtend site or the Ingenia site, or even for that matter the Enlist site, we haven't even talked about the 2,4-D resistant soybeans. It's going to add another complex decision tool for our producers, but it's going to have to be on that website before it can be used within that specific herbicide.
So tell me just a little bit about the test plot that's being harvested here today.
So we're harvesting soybeans here outside of Boonville, Missouri, and this is what we call our training camp site. And we were back here in July, we had over 450 employees out here going through the training, looking at varieties, looking at anything from dicamba, tank contamination, off-target movement, seed treatments, and really getting hands-on learning out here at the site. And we're out here harvesting this. We have 21 acres here where we actually rent this farm from a producer of ours, and we farm it just like a producer would. We have 10 other sites where we'll put this right in the middle of a farmer's field, and he'll let us rent that area, and we'll put these varieties. We have 89 different soybean varieties out here that we're evaluating, Roundup Ready to Xtend or RXT for more soys. We're looking at Liberty Link, and then also conventional soybeans. We still have a big interest in conventional soybeans. So we're evaluating 89 different varieties in this specific area.
That's MFA Agronomy Director Jason Weirich.